Hello. Today I want to talk to you about a man who most of you will never have heard of, but who has no doubt saved millions of lives. Nils Bohlin is the little-known Swedish Volvo engineer who invented the V-type three-point safety belt in 1959. His new cross-strap design made seatbelts much easier to use and much safer too. It's hard now to imagine cars without them. The 1950s were a time when pilots and racing drivers wore harnesses, but seatbelts, where they were fitted in cars, took the form of a rudimentary two-point waist restraint. In crashes, sometimes these did more harm than good. Bohlin had been a former aviation engineer at Saab who worked on ejector seats. He knew an effective belt must absorb force across the body, yet be so easy to use that even a child could buckle up. His three-point seatbelt took him less than a year to design, and Volvo introduced the technology to its cars in 1959, the same year that Bohlin filed for his patent in the US. On July the 10th, 1962, 59 years ago this very week, the United States Patent Office issued patent number 3043625 to Nils Bohlin for a three-point safety belt designed for use in road cars. The belt was straightforward, consisting of two straps that met at the hip and secured both the upper and lower body. However, the reason the three-point safety belt is so widely adopted is because Volvo opened up the patent so that any car manufacturer could use their design. They decided that the invention was so significant it had more value as a free life-saving tool than something to profit from. Volvo's president at the time was Gunnar Englau, an engineer himself, who had suffered direct personal loss from a road traffic accident. A relative had died, partly because of shortcomings in the two-point belt design. Perhaps this was the reason why Volvo, instead of sitting on the patent and licensing up to other manufacturers, opened it up so that any car maker could incorporate the belt design into vehicles. It's estimated that had they not made this foolish economic decision, retaining the patent could have netted Volvo in excess of $400 million up to today. For me, this story speaks of the concept of doing the right thing, even if it comes at a cost. I think that Volvo and its staff acted in accordance with our school values of justice and compassion. There is perhaps something here for today's pharmaceutical companies to consider as debates rage over the patenting of coronavirus vaccines. Similarly, while European governments and wealthy countries plan autumn coronavirus third dose booster jabs, millions of people in developing countries will have to wait till at least 2022 for a first jab. This situation the World Health Organization has described as a catastrophic moral failure. Some of you may know a story that Jesus tells of a man from Samaria who helps a beaten and battered Jew that he finds on the road. You can find it in chapter 10 of the Gospel of Luke. Stopping to help on that lonely road from Jerusalem to Jericho was certainly not the sensible thing to do. The bandits could still have been around, lying in wait for him. It could all have been a trap. Taking the man to a local inn was certainly not an effective use of his time on such a challenging journey. Paying for the man to be cared for was certainly not a good business decision, as he would never get back his costs. However, Jesus tells this illogical story to illustrate what it means to love your neighbour. And at the end of it, he says to those listening, "Go and do likewise." My prayer today is that in our daily interactions, we might all be inspired to do just that, to love others in a radical manner, perhaps even an illogical one. Bless you all.